Your fellow driver, huh? Yeah, I used to do the same thing in my truck. I used to have a good half dozen radios in mine, including HF. Don't hear anything from the pile or the radio. I might hear a fan in the background. I don't know if it's related to your setup or if it's just a box fan. Of course, I'm running a box fan. You may not hear it either, but like I say, perfect audio, strong signal, and no problems from your basement.
Well, I appreciate you coming back. I think that's the fan from all the charges I'm running for the batteries for my drills and other electric devices. But yeah, like I said, first time I've been on the air, probably about a year and a half. Glad to get back on the air. I was just out working in my work van. I went from being a driver to a supervisor, so now I'm in a van, chasing down drivers and just getting all my equipment in my van from my 18-wheeler.
No, okay, so you're out of the big truck and you're like a private contractor now.
I'm out of the big truck, but not a private contractor. I work for a large food distributor. I work for a food service. I chase drivers down all the time now, doing deliveries, making orders, and I cover the southeast region of the state. But I do it through a Ford Transit now instead of a large truck.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. A Sprinter van. A lot of the contractors that do it that way, they get out of the big truck and they get into either a Class B type, the road tractor with a box on it. You've probably seen the FedEx and whatnot for expedited deliveries. They might pick up a washer or dryer from someplace and it's got to be there overnight or whatever, and that's why they do what they do. And they were doing it in the road tractors with the box on the back. When they transitioned into the Sprinter vans, it was about the same thing. A little easier. They put up a little cot or something in there. And that's all they did was they'd wait for that special expedited load to get it where it needed to go. But I understand food service. The next question is it actual frozen foods or refrigerated? Is it beer and alcohol? What are you chasing down? That's kind of a curiosity now.
Yeah, I copy that. Yeah, KO4KTW right there. Yeah, sorry, I got my dad calling me on Dirty Charlie on G-Star. I work for the PFG, one of the larger food distributors, and we deliver out of our OpCo. We do the southeast region of the United States, and we move everything from reefer, frozen, dry food. We do it all out of a reefer, man. Everybody that out of our OpCo is a reefer.
Yeah, D-Star. I heard that in the background just a little bit. That's cool. I do a little DMR myself. I haven't invested in the D-Star stuff yet. I've done Echolink and what have you, Zello, but of course that's not amateur radio unless that's part of the group genre of the room or chat room, whatever. Performance Food Group, very familiar. That and Roma and all the others. I used to cater to those when I worked for Robert William Howard is what it was. They just called it RWH on the big trucks. And used to service a lot of those, Pepsi Cola, and a lot of McLean's food distribution and whatnot for their convenience stores and whatever. They service things like 7-Eleven and other locations like it, the small convenience stores, and I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, McLean is only about 30 miles north of us, near Fredericksburg. They do a lot of stuff around us as well. And like you said, it's the 7-Eleven. So we do more. Well, my side of the business is we do chain restaurants, say like your Arby's and your Chick-fil-A and that kind of stuff. And my wife works for the same company. She does all the mom and pop, so she does all the local restaurants in the area.
Yeah, I used to carry a lot of candy loads, ice cream loads, lots of seasoning loads for, say, Subway or Taco Bell, things like that. I used to carry a lot of chicken out of the South for Popeyes and Wendy's up to the Northeast and come back with ice cream or candy for Atlanta. and I did a lot of that back and forth. Lots of McLean's. I went all up into Maine. I was telling one of the guys here earlier. I went into Maine fairly often for that DC way up there by itself, and back and forth. I think I went to the one in my hometown, McLean Southeast, a few times. Lots of times down in Florida. Lots of trips to Publix and back down there, Lakeland and Plant City and all that good stuff. Did lots of those things. My last job, the last account I was on for Schwann's, and that was a lot of frozen pizzas from Kansas to Atlanta, and then up into Kentucky, Corbin, Kentucky, and sometimes I'd pick up popsicle sticks for ice cream, or if it wasn't popsicle sticks, it was picking up mom's meals around the corner and taking them up north, and then one ingredient or another. Sometimes from Wisconsin to Minnesota, I think I'd pick up dough and then drop it off over there and pick up some kind of meat or cheese product and bring it back down to Kansas before the week was done. So a lot of frozen and refrigerated stuff besides the popsicle sticks.
Yeah, copy on that. Yeah, I did local Richmond delivery, and then another side of our business here in Richmond, I ran a little bit further and did Pittsburgh route. So I spent a year in Pittsburgh, and then did the Philly route. Also ran a lot of stuff down that way too, and did a lot of the the local restaurants down that way. I got out of that about a couple of years ago, probably 3 years ago, and then I did backhaul. I got into a sleeper cab 18 wheeler and just did long haul stuff, and did that for a couple of years. And my wife, being in the same business and understanding it, still was like, basically, we're gonna end up in a divorce. I love you to death, but we can't keep seeing you every other week. So I got back into local stuff, and now I'm just managing the drivers here in the local area here in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, I do understand. The current wife and I used to do that together, and she'd just hang out in the truck, and I did all the driving and whatnot. And eventually, we got a couple dogs, and she'd hang out with them, and back and forth. Sometimes I'd pick up my daughter and her dog, and we'd run the country a couple times, a week or two at a time, and take her back home. She lived in the Atlanta area, sort of, and that was kind of easy. So, pick her up at the beginning of the week and drop her off the next week or two. So, done all that. You guys are local. That's good. The station sounds good. No idea about the D-Star, of course, but I'm sure it does fine for you there. Next project is the garage. I guess you're going to move everything out there when it's done. No? Gee.
KO4KTW returning. Yeah, the garage is only about a couple weeks out. We did a nice 30 by 30 garage.
Oh, boy.
And did a few stories because I wanted to workshop above. So once we get off the peak, I left a tree. My contractor was like, you need to cut that tree down to be closer to your garage. And I succeeded because basically I have put a window. I can jump to the window, grab the tree, and I can go up to the 30 feet. But then, he's not a ham guy, but so I get a ham. I get my radio, or sorry, my antenna way up there, and I should be able to reach out really well. I had a antenna in my attic in the house. My son is only like 10 years old. Listen to the radio, so I put an antenna in the attic, and I had a radio in his room. But my workshop's downstairs, and that's where all my equipment is. Still have an antenna in the attic, but the garage is probably about 15, 20 feet higher than the house itself. It's kind of on the hill, and I think I can get out to the tree, so another 30 feet up. So I should be, once all of this is done, I should be about 40 feet above my house with the antenna over the next month.
That's good. Uh, he doesn't understand you climb trees too. That antenna work ought to be fairly easy, I guess. You're out there near the airport. Do you listen to any aircraft also?
I do. My father and my brother were private pilots back in the day.
Oh,
They
cool.
kind of let their certs go now that they've gotten older. But I used to listen to a lot of that. And I have a couple radios that I can get that. I can get those frequencies on. I have one mobile, and being so close to the airport, there's a lot of fun stuff you can hear. You can hear the Richmond International Airport as
Yeah, you
well.
can.
Honestly, the first time I've been on the radio as a base station in the house, like I said, I was here now. Trying to get back more into mobile. I had a handy talkie that I put in my, it's got DMR, so I've got digital on it. I've only set up analog stuff on it for now on my work band, so I'm just doing analog, but I spend a ton of time, probably 60 hours a week driving, and I've got TV radio,
There we
I've
go.
got analog set up in there, and I've got
That was the next question.
digital radio, and I've got some digital hotspots that I'll hook up when I start riding, and get into that probably in the next couple of weeks.
Oh man, you're about as set up as I am, and more so mobile. That's good news. That's a lot of fun. I'm sure you have a lot of fun, just doing all that stuff as you drive along, and probably region to region. Like I said, I used to do that myself in the big rig. And that was the next question: do you have CB? And I've got some of that here too. I live right downtown Richmond, and right outside my back door is the railroad, an interstate, a hospital with 3 landing pads. So you've got all those services, the aircraft, the medical helicopters and stuff. Got all kinds of reception for direct and repeaters on GMRS as well. So got this hobby and a bunch of other services I can listen to, including CB radio. If I got it right, KO4PTW, K4ARX.
KO4 KRX, Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Tango. Yeah, I
Kilo.
spent 10 years working EMS in the city of Richmond, so I'm familiar with that. Hospital is 3 helipads, so I'm trying to figure that out in each city next to a railroad track. I'm thinking Japan, possibly.
No, we're right downtown, right here off of Interstate 95, exit 79, I think, roughly, give or take, right at the I-64 and I-95 interchange. Uh, Realistically, right under the Lee Street Viaduct, or the MLK Junior Bridge, goes from downtown over to O Street and Mosby there up on the hill. We're down at the bottom of the valley here at what they call Amtrak Junction, which runs under that same bridge, right next to the interstate. We're right across the interstate from the MCV VCU hospital, the main hospital, and they got a helipad on top of the North Tower. They got a helipad on top of the Children's Hospital next door, and there's a helipad across the several blocks actually, and they've got a VCU parking deck over there. It's ground level, but that's their third pad, and they've got room for more. I think probably on the I lot, which is the parking deck right next to the North Tower. It's technically on the north side of that building, so there's plenty of places for that. And we're on what they call Oliver Hill Way, which is a 2-lane split road, one way, one way and one way the other way. And just south of Broad Street, that's 17th and 18th, right around the 7-Eleven. So it's kind of it's an old industrial area that's been transitioned into multifamily living. Gosh, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I do chipping them out there. That as soon as I said it, I was like, no, that's not it. I just said that because it was out in the county a little bit.
Well, there is a landing pad there.
So back when I was at EMS, they had
What?
the helipad on top of the hospital, and then they had the lot off-site. Children's Hospital, I didn't realize there was a helipad there. That's pretty cool. I I've actually brought several patients in, both on the remote site. So I worked with Richmond Ambulance, and anytime that there was any wind or weather and helicopters couldn't land on top of the hospital,
Right.
they would call Richmond Ambulance, and we would respond, and we would take the patient from the lot. It's actually a parking lot over there. I'm sure you know that, but there's a parking lot over there. It's about a 3/4 mile run, like Cyrus to the hospital. I've taken, I can't run that way. But I did that, and when I was a paramedic student, I got a lot of chances to go up to the helipad and be on that tiny little helipad with helicopters landing. I mean, it looks big, but
Yeah.
you're just 3 people up there. You got a paramedic, a nurse, and a doctor, and you got some people that can push a stretcher, bringing people down in critical condition. That was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I think they resurfaced that one recently. And from my vantage point, it looks like the children's helipad is crammed between the elevator shafts and up there on top of the roof. But if you look at it from downtown, the perspective of it's now the transfer plaza for GRTC. You're looking at, instead of looking at MCV, Children's Hospital, and City Hall, it's backwards. So you're looking at City Hall, Children's in the middle, and then MCV on the other side. But there's a whole lot more room up there than what you think, at least from this perspective. From over there, there's probably room for an extra pad, if you will, because there's ground level room between the buildings of the hospitals. So it's a lot more broad for flights than you think. I was just telling my neighbor this today. We're talking about that. I noticed there was a helicopter up there on that particular pad, and he didn't notice it, but I pointed it out. And that was our discussion about how much room they had or did not have.
Yeah, copy that. I was a medic or EMT on duty one time, and we were working with the National Guard. So they're like a backup for when we don't have light evac or we use that flight. I can't remember what it's called these days. The funny thing about that is that where I live in Hanover County, the helicopter station, the PT helicopter station here in Hanover County, Hanover County Airport flies over my house multiple times a day. I just lived in the street. But when I was, I just happened to be at work one day, and they're like, "Oh, we have these we were doing sorry, I lost you there for a minute. We were doing some revolution, and
Your thumb getting tired?
I got a chance to in the ambulance chase down Black Hawk helicopters from we started at the VA hospital.
Oh boy.
And they landed there. Then we left. We grabbed a fictitious patient, just basically somebody that hung out on the stretcher, and then we ran to MTV and was they would go up there and then go to the next stop. Basically, just trying to figure out how we can do mass casualty incidents in the region and get them where they need to be.
I'll tell you what, this is a place for you to hang out. You want to do your amateur stuff and relate to all those kinds of people here on the Metropolitan Repeater Association. Here on the MRA, there's all kinds of current and retired dispatchers, officers from fire, police, EMTs, military, retired. There's all sorts of walks of life here, and this is a place to hang out. Uh, they're probably listening now, but they don't catch you right now. Just after this, they'll be around, and it's quite a group to hang out with. Hanover has a recent addition to a repeater, and if you don't have it plugged in there yet, 145.110 is their VHF, and it's out there, I think, in Hanover. I don't know if that's the city of also or just the county, but anyways, it's a recent addition. I think the tone is 74.4, and pretty much the same group was over there.
KO4KTW returning. Make sure I got that though. 147
Negative 145.110. 145.110. I think the tone is 74.4. I think I have it programmed in one or two radios since it was re-inception, and it's not in this particular radio, so I don't remember. This one was programmed for me being a Motorola Astro Spectra, and that's why it's not here. It was pre-programmed before that one came about. But yeah, that's the 511, I call it.
Copy that. I got that written down now. I appreciate it. So you've been in the Richmond metro area for a while?
Yeah, pretty close to 3 years now. There's a lot of great guys and a few gals here to talk to. And like I said, a similar walk of life there. There's other drivers too, current and former drivers, and really a whole lot more. There's hunters and sportsmen of all kind, and there's equestrian. There's, I guess you call them homesteaders. There's all kinds of people here. The customer service representatives. I'm trying not to leave anybody out. There's a bunch of net control operators, and they'll cycle out through the month on the different nets that are on the MRA and the Richmond Amateur Telecommunications Society repeaters. They all hang out and switch back and forth. There's a lot of people that's in here that you probably haven't met since you've come back on.
Well, once I get this base station set up in my garage where I have some better reception and longer reach, I'm going to get out here more often. But I really appreciate the conversation. Both my kids upstairs are asking for dinner, so I'm going to have to run. But I want to say 73 and really appreciate the chance to talk. And honestly, didn't think I was going to have a chance to talk to anybody. I've been listening to this repeater in my work van for the last few days and haven't heard anything. So glad we got a chance to connect.
No, glad to help out anytime. That's a real shame. I'm sorry you haven't heard enough activity yet. I know the kiddos are hungry, and I'll let you go. Last shameless plug, I've got my own YouTube channel. You can see what I'm doing from here as an example, and it's kind of a testament to how well the systems work around here because I'm working from indoor antennas. My main channel is the American Radio X-Ray. There's lots of net content, lots of simplex and what have you conversations, and it's a pretty good idea of who's here and who's on the air. All the important folks and non-important folks like me and the like, haha. And you can check all that out when you got your time, and we'll talk to you later. Hopefully I got it right now. KO4KTW, K4ARX.
That is correct. This is Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Tango Whiskey, K4ARX. If you would please give me your name one more time, your first name, so I can put that down.
Yes, my name is William. Everybody calls me William, unless they're cussing at me, and we don't do that much on here. But that's what we go by.
Well, William, K4ARX.
Street work between North Richmond and West Point John on Main Track. 3442, that's 34421, box number 30.
All right, fine business. Talk to you later on down the log there. Get the family fed, and we'll catch you some other time. Maybe on another band. Maybe on D-Star one of these days. Who knows? 73 KO4KTW, K4ARX. Man, that's always a lot of fun.
73 as well. K4KTW.
All right, we got another operator in the area. Formerly licensed, coming back into the hobby, at least in the area here. That's a lot of fun. Hope to talk to him more. All right, William here, catching another guy on the radio, the MRA, call sign K4ARX. You're watching the American Radio X-Ray. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like the video, share, comment. Catch you around.